Welcome back on board the Master Stereo. It's been way too long. I've been busy with work and still got a little bit of a cold. The Asian dust in Busan at the moment is pretty bad, affecting my throat. So apologies up front. At the moment, we're tracking just a little bit to the east of Blackborough. I believe that we are a little bit in front of him, but the top 12 here are still in with a chance, and maybe even some beyond that as well. In overnight, Blackborough and I came through this island chain here, some fairly hairy moments with the depth gauge. Blackborough and I were so close I could have fired a couple of torpedoes across his bow or into him, but it was pitch black for most of the time, and he was in stealth mode at some stages as well. Stealth mode giving him a little bit more of a bump than I could do while I was online. But it was a good couple of hours of just tracking and following each other down through. Let's go over to Peter Gregg's nice tracker here. Sorry, I'm doing things. And about 12 days ago, we were up here, languishing in about 12th place. I was trying to find some pretty good angles and making a hash of it. Blackborough went out to the east and came down and was one of the front runners, as he still is. Zen was up there. Tommy Cods was in first or second as well, with Zen, obviously. Who else has fallen down? Well, obviously X-Ray has DNF'd due to either a technical fault or user error. And as we were coming down, we were around about 60, 70, 80 nautical miles behind. Hit a speed bump around here, and that catapulted us into first place at the moment. I think we just played the wind a little bit better at some points, and those front runners got a speed bump. Pretty unlucky for them, otherwise they would have kept their margin, but the concertina effect has worked in our favor this time. Often it doesn't, so lady luck shone on us. And through past this little strait here, Papua New Guinea, and on and down through the doldrums. A couple of hours ago, I'm sorry, a couple of days ago, if we have a look at where, is this, no, yeah, Zen here. If we follow the track back up and through, around about this point here, Zen and I crossed paths, which is quite amazing in all of this ocean. You know, it was about 14 days into the race at that point, or something like that. What is it now? Sorry, I've forgotten. 13 days. No, sorry. It would have been about 9 days or 10 days into the race. We crossed paths just as it was sunset, and I have a little bit of footage to show about that. And yeah, it's been a bit of a journey through these doldrums. Sagui, who had been with us for a long time, he also got a speed push along and was first just 24 hours ago. So what a difference a day makes, Aretha Franklin, yeah. And here he is. Here he came out to the east and down. He's going to be very, very close as he comes down through with us now. Tommy Codds, who's been away for 4 or 5 days, was first and second. Oops, sorry, something happened there. Pushed the wrong button. Came down and through. Couldn't obviously come through. Down through the shallows. So played it safe, and is now going to have to see if he can get around and through fast enough through this little bit of lighter blue here. We also have Rafakar doing well. He's close to in the mix. El Patron has caught up considerably as well. Full Moon once again was in the lead in the first couple of days, but is still in the mix. And over to our west is Dingo, doing a good job with Orbiter. Vitali always close behind. Slow-mo, never that slow. And then a bunch of guys here, Connecticom, who started the race, 24 hours behind, I think. Sparks Fly, Tangent here, never to be trifled with, and Schnoodleheiber. So those guys here, these guys here, all very, very close. We also have some outliers. Frank Black, I think, is way out to the east, coming around. So that's going to be an interesting path. And then we have these guys who were in the first 24 hours doing very well. Mistralette and Geronimo, unfortunately, having to come laterally across the doldrums is not a good strategy, I believe. I'm sorry to say that, guys, but yeah, you got to punch through this crap as fast as possible. Poor Patrick, I think he's been beached for a couple of days. I'm not sure if he's been online to see this. If he does teleport, he might teleport over to Port Moresby, so that'll be one for the records. So, having said that, let's quickly go back to Mast Hysteria, and you can see that we're getting pretty good TWA and speed at the moment. I'd like to go a little bit to the south, but unfortunately I've just done a new QTVLM thing, and it's telling us to go a little bit more to the east. Over the last couple of days, it's been showing us constantly going down the eastern seaboard and then across to New Zealand in a sort of arc pattern, and now it's just switched across to a more easterly path. Not sure that that's exactly what I want to do. We're going to keep on trucking along, hoping to get to the side here and then pushed out. I've also made a quick scenario here of the boats as they head through. It's we've got Frank Black as an outlier here. We've got Tommy here, Sagui here, ourselves, and then Dingo and Orbiter. I sort of didn't pick everybody, obviously just the interesting ones. It's showing us all going out that way. Although, 3 or 4 days out with these grips are pretty unreliable, especially with the weather changes that are occurring off the coast of Australia at the moment. It's going from summer into autumn and then winter. Makes for turbulent weather. Always the change of season does. Where I sail up here in Busan, this is the time when the winds are really, really strong. The change of seasons. Every day is changeable from either being freezing cold to being t-shirt weather. The same in Australia at the moment. Those latitudes just get you. So having done these routes, I'll just do a route comparator, add all, and go on the ETA, and you can see that there's only about an hour or so difference between a couple of us. Dingo's not that far behind. Tommy is about a day out. No, sorry, only a couple of hours behind. Sorry, what am I saying? 5 hours behind, and 5 or 6 hours is what we were a couple of days ago. So, you know, and Route 8, sorry, that's Frank Black, obviously in the black. So I'll just push this through. We'll do 2-hour steps. I guess 2 hours is too long. Let's do 3-hour steps. I might pause it as we go along. So up until to the night, we get through, and then off on a beam again, pushed out to the east. I'd like to have got into some of this yellow stuff. Maybe that's the go. We'll see. And then the next night, tracking down towards Nomia. Still not in some yellow, which Dingo and Orbiter could be. We could be out here, but then I guess we're starting to tack, so something to watch. We're still tacking here, and then out on a beam again, and then down. And that looks not too bad, but down here we would be, and we'd be not in some great weather, but might be okay. So it's pretty close. And past Numia, Frank gets a bit of a leg on, push down, and then we're into some pretty awful weather. Not awful, but you know, it's not so good around here. And then finally down towards NZ, where it usually is windy, but we'll see. So that's that. And Frank following up behind. So back to Master Styria. Big props for Peter Gregg here for doing this. I know it's only a 2-hour lead time. I wish it was an hour. That would be quite nice. Maybe it's updated now. Actually, let's have a look. Yeah, 41 minutes ago. So that's good. This is my 3rd time doing this video because I've been having mic problems. So I hope this records, and you can see that Black Barrow and I and us are sort of coming together here, and it's going to be an interesting day. Probably in the next couple of hours we'll be able to see each other, throw each other a couple of bottles of rum, and enjoy our afternoon. So with that said, guys, I want to wish you a good Sunday from the flyer around the Master Styria. Nothing to see really, except a lot of ocean. Every time I go past an island that seems to be at night, the moon is waning, so it's going to get darker and darker as we get into the next nine days. It was beautiful for some of it, but that's that. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye bye.